Hi, boys and girls. Today in math, we're going to be doing a skill that there is no Zern lesson for. And it's not a skill that I think that you'd be able to manage on your own if I don't give you some instruction. So since there isn't any Zern instruction, I'm going to give you some instruction today so that you can be successful with the skill. So earlier this week, we did some comparison of lines. We measured two lines, and then you told me what the difference between the lines were by doing some subtraction. We're kind of going to be doing something similar today where we're looking for a difference, but we're working on a number line. There's no measuring for you to do, but you have to be able to read a number line. And since it's been a while since we've done that, I want to make sure that you're ready for today's lesson. So we're going to share our screen and get going. Okay, my friends, here is a blank number line. And there's just a couple of things that I want to review with you before we start. Okay, so we know that this is a number line. But there are different parts of a number line that I want to make sure that you remember, such as these marks in between. Does anybody remember what we call these marks? We know that this is the beginning because there's a straight line and nothing on that side. This is the end. What do we call those individual marks? Well, if you said hash mark, you were correct. This is a hash mark, which means what is that space in between? And it depends on the numbers that are on the number line. Okay, this space in between, that is between two hash marks, has its own special name also. If you said interval, you were correct. Well, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at that interval or the space that's in between, because some of these hash marks are going to have numbers, but they aren't necessarily, this doesn't mean that this is starting at 0 and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'd be way too easy. This isn't first grade. This is second grade, soon to be third grade. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're actually going to be working with measurement numbers. So when I say the interval, when I talk about this space right here, I'm going to actually be talking about what unit of measurement is it. Now I'm going to be showing you an example that has to do with centimeters. In fact, you're going to be on the lesson 21 problem set in your book. So we're going to be doing some problems together. But before we do some problems together, I want to do some problems with you by taking a look at this number line. So again, let me give you an example. We know that this is start. All right, so that could be any number we wanted it to be. Let's pick a number. All right, I like the number 5. So we're going to say that this is 5 centimeters. All right, and we need a number on this side. Oh, I can see that I'm pretty shiny there. Here we go. All right, so there's 5. I don't know, let's say we want to know what this line right here is. All right? So we need a number out here. So I'm going to say that this is 40 centimeters. So we know our beginning is 5. We know our end is 40. But what I want to know is, what is letter A? What's the measurement of letter A? Well, how did we get from 5 to 40? That's what I mean by we have to find the pattern, okay? So the first thing that we have to do is we have to find the pattern. What do each of these hash marks mean? Which means how much measurement, or what is the measurement of each unit or each interval space? Well, I love to count by 2s, but I don't think that's going to get there. I also love to count by 5s and 10s. Why don't we try 5? All right, so if this number is 5, this would be, that's right, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay, so that worked, which means the interval is 5 centimeters. So each space is 5 centimeters. So if I know my pattern is 5, I can figure out what letter B is. Let's see. I start with 5. Let's count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so letter A is 20 centimeters. All right, so that's what our skill is today. and I want to make sure that you know how to do it. So let's do a couple of them together today to make sure that you understand. So if you don't have your math packet yet, you should, because it was in the instructions, but if you don't, go get it, and I'm going to pause real quick and get my board reset, and we'll come right back and do some together. Okay, chicklets, so at this point, you should have your packet in front of you, and you should be on page 70. It's going to look like this, page 70. It's the lesson 21 problem set, and you're going to be working on 3 problems with me. So the lesson 21 problem set, number 70. If your numbers got cut off, you're looking for 293 at the bottom. 293, lesson 21 problem set. All right, so we're going to jump right in. We're going to do 3 problems together, and then you should be all set to do the activity that I have for you on Seesaw. Okay, so again, we know that this is a number line. These are hash marks, and each space in between is called an interval. But because we're dealing with measurements, we're going to call these units. Each one of these is a unit, and how much does each one stand for? Well, we have to find out 2 things. What's the measurement of letter A on the number line? And each unit has a length of blank centimeters. So what that means is how much is in between each hash mark? How much is that? Well, when we first started out with our example, we decided to count by 5. So let's see how that works out for us. Let's see if that pattern fits. So if this is 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Oops, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. It ends on the correct amount. We were correct. So then 5 is the unit, but what 5 what? Bananas? Nope, it is 5 centimeters. Okay, so now that we know each interval is 5, then we need to count by 5. So this is 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So A is 40 bananas? Nope, that's right, centimeters. And we show that by the letters cm. So that's how we do that. So you have 2 steps that you need to do. The first thing is to find the unit. Or an easier way to say that is find the pattern. What is happening between the 2 numbers that you know how many numbers are taking up that space. So find the pattern or the unit, and then find the letter. Okay, on this one it's A, on the next one it could be B. So that's how we're doing that. So I'm gonna stop and give you a few minutes to catch up with number 1, in case you're not there yet, and then we're gonna go on to number 2. All right, my friends, so we're back, and now we have number 2. So if you remember what I told you, we were gonna really have 2 steps. This is number 1. First step is to find the unit or the pattern, and then the second step is to find, I put A on this one, but on this particular problem, we have the letter B. So each unit has a length of blank centimeters. And then what does B equal? Well, 5's worked with us twice now. Let's try it a 3rd time. So let's try by giving the 5, counting by 5 patterns a try. So if this is 35, this would be 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Wah, wah, wah. What's wrong? Right, if the pattern or the interval was 5, this number would be 60, but it's 85. Uh-oh. Well, I'm not going to do less than 5 because I know that would be too small of a number. So I need to count more than 5. Well, I know how to count by 1s, 2s, 5s, and 10s very easily. Those are the skip counting that I'm the best at. Well, let's try 10s and see what happens. Let's try those 10s. Remember, it ends in 5 though, so every time we count, we're going to be ending in 5. So that's a little tricky. So 35, just the 10s is going to change. 35, 45, 55, 65, 75, Ooh, 85, we're spot on. So we know counting by tens worked, which means this interval right here is 10 centimeters. All right, so I'm going to come over here, and remember, you're following along on your page, and you're writing the same thing that I'm writing. So each unit has a length of 10 centimeters. So now that I know that each interval is 10 centimeters, I can figure out what B is by coming back here and counting by tens again. So let's do that together. 35, 45, 55, 65. Yep, this letter B stops at 65. So I'm going to write 65. Am I done? Nope, you're right, I'm not. I need to put cm because we're dealing with measurement of centimeters. So I'll let you go ahead and catch up with me. I'm going to show you all three problems at the end so that you can fix your booklet in case you don't have everything done. But this is probably, by now you're thinking, okay, I kind of get this. I have to do two things. I have to find the pattern or find the interval. And then once I know what the interval is, I can find the value or the measurement of the letter. So we've done two so far. We have one more to do on page 70. And again, remember, I'm going to show you all of these at the end so that you can catch up anything that you have missed. All right, friends, we only have one left then. This would be number 3. Hang on a minute. Notice right away, I have an ending number, but I don't have a beginning number. That's kind of tricky. Where do you think I should start to find my interval? Start with the known? Yes, you're exactly right. Start with what I do know. So this is 75, so I can find out what the interval is by finding out what's between 75 and 90. Well, last time we started with counting by 10, so why don't we start with 10 again and see what happens? All right, so if this is 75, this would be 85, this would be 95. Oops, that's not going to work because I end at 90, so 95 is too big. So 10's not going to work. What's the next one you know that's lower? That's right, you know how to count by fives. So let's put fives. Let's try the fives. All right, so this is 75. This would be 80. This would be 85. And this would be 90. All right, we did it. So this is 80. And this is 85. So we know the interval then, the fives worked. So this space in between is 5 centimeters. So how are we going to figure out C then? There's no starting number. You guys are such geniuses. You're right. If every time we moved forward, it was plus 5, if we go backwards, it's going to be minus 5. You guys are rock stars. All right, so 75 minus 5, because I'm going backwards, what would C be? 75 minus 5 is going to be, that's right, 70. 70. 70 bananas? 70 cupcakes? 70 roller skates? No, 70 centimeters. All right, so there we go. So let me move this one down a little bit. Oops, I gave that one a little bit of a tear. And I'm just going to stack them right here. So you should have been working right along with me, and you should have page 70 in your packet completed. I'm going to raise this up a little bit. If you don't have page 70 completed, or if I went a little bit too fast for you, I want you to finish it with questions 1, 2, and 3 so that you have all the right answers and that you're ready to tackle the assignment. So again, we're finding the unknown measurement on a number line that is showing us two numbers that we know. So again, the first thing that we're going to do is find the unit or the pattern. What's the pattern between the two numbers? How much is each unit or interval? And then once we find that interval, we can take that knowledge and find the missing letter. I wrote find A, but it could be A, B, C, all the way up to Z. So that's what your target is for today, is to be able to find an unknown measurement on a number line by finding the interval and then applying the pattern that you notice to find that missing number. All right, so you should be all set to get started. I hope that you are successful. I can't wait to see what you do on today's lesson. So I am going to stop that and I'm going to say bye for now, and I'll see you at the Zoom meeting.